Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins Gate 0. In the last episode, Rintaro, Maho and Leskinen narrowly escaped a rather strange and bizarre assassination attempt of sorts. Meanwhile, Suzuha Mane is currently resting at the Future Gadget Lab and she has a bit of a fever for some reason. It just came out of nowhere. But she needs to lie down. But she's no use to anyone in this condition, and even she realizes that. Suzuha used the last of her energy to reach the sofa. She collapsed on top of it and closed her eyes, but it's rather surprising that this fever would actually come out of nowhere. Calm down, she told herself. And Mayushi's being incredibly useful, as always.
こっちみんなこの中にもちろん僕中を漁ってははくんかとかしてないから
That's truly disturbing. Sniff sniff. Onomatopoeia used to describe the act of smelling something, often used in manga and on the internet, a favorite phrase of perverted gentlemen. Its origins are unclear, but its use has been seen as far back as a popular comic during the early 1980s. I think you should take Suzu's advice to heart, Daru. Suzuha kept her eyes shut as she complained. And Yuki is ever the fashion designer in the same way as Mayuri. As she listened to the conversation going around her, Suzuha felt a cold towel on her forehead. That would be Mayuri. Thank you very much, Daru. And he's off.
鈴葉さん、起きられますか？お兄さんが戻ってくる前に着替えだけ済ませてしまいましょう。
Suzuha opened her eyes. Yuki was standing over her and looking down.
いや、このままでいいよ。今までもそうしてきたし。
In fact, before Suzuha became a time traveler, there had been many times in which she'd been unable to rest, even if she was sick. Many times she wasn't able to change clothes or even lie down. Compared to that, this was a lot nicer.
ダメです。風邪はひき始めが肝心ですよ。
Appears that Yuki is disagreeing with Suzuha.
でもじゃありません。早く脱いで。
Yuki was a little bit more forceful than usual as she tried to take Suzuha's clothes off. Suzuha jumped up, surprised.
わかった。やるよ。自分でやる。
Actually, it's probably better that she changes into a completely different set of clothes.
汗びっしょり。まゆりちゃん、乾いたタオルはある？
Yeah. She's definitely sweating buckets.
はい、これ。
Thank you so much, Mayushi. Yuri took the towel that Mayuri had brought from the shower room and gently wiped the sweat off Suzuha's forehead and neck.
くすぐったい。少し我慢してください。子供じゃないんだから。けど、
Suzuha shook as she was rubbed with the towel. She wasn't used to being touched, and this was the first time since she was very young that anyone had done this to her.
もういい。自分でやるってば。別に遠慮しなくても。
Yuki seems slightly
遠慮と
disappointed.
かじゃないから。
Of course, this is especially awkward for Suzuha. Suzuha grabbed the towel from Yuki. Trying her best to hide herself from the gaze of the other two, she took off her clothes and wiped away the sweat. Her face felt really hot. She didn't know if it was because of the fever or not, but she was finding it incredibly difficult to think straight.
これでいい？はい、よくできました。あとはこれを着てください。
It's just hope that those clothes are relatively normal. Then again, knowing Yuki and Mayushi. She grabbed the new pair of underwear and clothes from Yuki. Still trying to hide herself, she put them on. When she lay back down on the sofa, Yuki put a blanket on her.
まゆりちゃん、このお部屋って洗濯機はないんだっけ？いつもそれで困るんだよ。まゆし、後でコインランドリーへ行ってくるね。
Yeah, the future gadget laboratory doesn't have a washing machine, so they have to go to the laundromat.
そんなことまでしてくれなくていいってば。
But Suzuha's trying to object to this, but I don't think she has a choice.
こういう時はお互い様ですよ。
Suppose Yuki does have a point. It's
お
two
腹は空い
against
てま
one,
す？
Suzu.
何か食べられそうですか？
Probably not right now due to the fact that she's still dealing with the fever. So that's definitely a no. Suzu looked at Yuki, then Mayuri, and was about to mumble another refusal, but in the end she gave up and pulled the blanket to her nose. This was really hard.
お腹はそんなに。
Seems that, yeah, given her experiences in 2036, Suzuha isn't entirely used to peacetime.
でも薬を飲む前に食べておかないと。おかゆなんかどうかな？
Suppose she'll have to eat something.
それいいね。じゃあすぐに作りますから、ちゃんと寝ていてくださいね。うん。
Doesn't look like you have much of a choice there, Suzuha.
ただいまだお。
And Daru's returned with the cold medicine. Daru came back from the drugstore a little while later.
疲れた。
Even in winter, Daru gets tired. But after walking 5 feet, let alone 5 meters, he was really out of breath. He must have gone running there and back. You're only exhausted because you never exercised, she thought to herself. But for some reason, the sight of her exhausted father made her happy, and she quickly shook her head.
ご苦労様、ダル君。これからおかゆ作るんだ。それを食べたら薬を飲ませてあげてください。
オキドキ。
Looks like Suzuha is certainly getting the royal treatment. Daru walked over to Suzuha as he answered.
具合はどうなん？
Probably a little more than a little
よく
disoriented.
ない。
And at least she admits
やっ
that
ぱ
much.
疲れが溜まってたんだな。鈴葉が休んでるとこ見たことないし。
Yeah, she's never once taken the time to
我
relax.
ながら情けないよ。私、ここにいない方がいいかもしれない。
え？
I think Suzuha's upset by the possibility that Yuki might find out
どこかで気
who
が
she
緩ん
really
でたんだ。
is.
父さんがいて、まゆ姉さんがいて、ルミ姉さんがいて、いつの間にか母さんまで。
It tells me that you work yourself a little too hard,
その
Suzuha.
せいで、時々任務を忘れそうになる。
Unfortunately, Suzuha has a responsibility to the
なんだ
future.
か、この温かい時間がいつまでも続くんじゃないかって錯覚しそうになったり。
I will say that this happy time is what she is actually fighting to preserve.
このまま戦争なんて起きないんじゃないかってふと考えてしまったり。
Unfortunately, worldline convergence is never so
普通の
kind.
女の子と同じような暮らしに憧れてしまいそうになったり。
それのどこが悪いって言うん？
When Daru spoke, his face was actually serious for once, and he was looking straight at Suzuha's eyes. It was the face of the father she knew so well, the man who was always there for her.
ここを出てどこへ行くつもりなんだよ。
That's a very good question.
マシンの中とか。
The time machine's great and all, but it's not exactly a house.
あんなところにずっといられるわけないだろ。
でも
Then again, Suzuha's trying to take her own burdens onto herself,
あんなところに
as usual.
娘をずっと置いておけるわけないだろう。
とさ。
For a moment, Suzuha was about to cry. She squeezed the blanket as hard as she could to stop herself. And then,
おっと、なんかマジレスしちゃったお。
Daru goes back to being his usual self. Serious response, net slang, the act of responding seriously to a post without joking around or posting memes.
とにかく僕は可愛い子と一緒にいられるのが嬉しくて、こっそりハーハーしたりクンカクンカするのが楽しみなのだぜ。
I have no words, Daru.
特に風で汗まみれになってる女の子は大好物です。
And there's the terrifying cat face again.
やめて。
Yeah. You never changed,
だったら
Daru.
早く直すといいよ。僕にハスハスされるのが嫌だったらね。
わかったよ。
Unfortunately, you can't hurry recovery from a fever. Suzuha whispered back to her response, then turned away from Daru and pulled the blanket closer.
もしかして今の僕の言葉でトラウマ解消しちゃった？好感度アップ？
This isn't one of your little eroji games, Daru.
バカなこと言ってると治ってからひどい目に遭わせるよ。
ブーツ履いてゴリゴリ踏んづけるとかそういう
You probably might at
指が
that.
爪の間にいろいろ刺す。
それだけはマジで勘弁してください。すみません。
And Daru is now repentant. She could smell the pleasant scent of Mayuri and Yuki's cooking from the kitchen.
なあ鈴葉、そろそろ教えてくんないかな。毎日何をしに出かけてるん？
And Daru has gone back to being serious again.
僕にも手伝えることあるかもしんないし。
後で。
Suzuha seems rather hesitant to talk
二
to
人きり
Daru
になっ
about
たら
it.
話すよ。
Looks like she doesn't want to mention anything while Mayuri and Yuki are here.
あ、うん。それでもいいけど。
まゆ姉さんには聞かせられない話なんだ。
Must be very serious if you want to keep Mayuri out of the loop. Yeah, there was no way she could tell Mayuri. Three days later, and she's probably still sick. And Yuki is apparently humming in the kitchen. Suzuha was still sick, no surprise there. Yuki came over every day with Mayuri to check on her. Because of this, Suzuha was able to eat nutritious food, and her fever had gone down. Now all that was left was to get her strength back. But still, Yuki kept telling her she needed to lie down. This meant that, for better or worse, Suzuha spent her whole day on the sofa, half asleep. Somewhere in her half-awake mind, she heard a terribly off-key tune. That, I don't know about you, but, that doesn't actually sound particularly off-key or off-tune to me. I should know. Since she also heard the sound of falling water, it was probably coming from the shower room, so she's not in the kitchen.
これ何の歌だっけ？ねえ、母さん。
It's probably just some random tune that she sings to herself, not an actual song. Suzuha had heard it when she was very young. Her mother had been singing it, just like she was now. But what exactly the song was about, she just couldn't remember.
もう起きなきゃ。いつまでも寝てられない。
Unfortunately, Suzuha really wants to get back on track with her mission. But even when she tried to open her eyes, they just wouldn't move. Her body must have needed more rest. Maybe Yuki was right and she needed to lie down some more. Maybe you should. She moaned and twisted slightly. When she did, the blanket fell to the floor. She didn't feel like she had the energy to pick it up. And there's Mayushi watching over Suzuha. She could sense someone standing up from the desk to where Daru always used the PC. Whoever they were, they came over and put the blanket back on. Thank you so much, Mayushi.
まゆ姉さんの匂い。
Weirdly, Mayuri always smelled good even when she wasn't using perfume. It was a slightly sweet smell, like a pale white flower. It was the scent that held her all night, on that distant day in the future where she lost her mother. Suzuha pulled her legs inside the blanket and grabbed onto her knees like a baby in the womb. Memories went in and out of her mind as she lay there half asleep. Good memories and not so good memories.
ママは痛い思いとかしたのかな。
And memories of Kagure, it
苦しい
seems.
思いとかしたのかな。
I think Daru and Mayuri are slightly more resourceful than that. Although then again, given how many times Mayuri has been killed in countless worldlines, yeah, best not to go back down that road. She suddenly remembered what Kagure had said to her after they'd travelled through time. There's Kagure not wanting to leave Mayuri's side. 2036, the day when she'd left. At the last second, Mayuri looked at Suzuha and Kagure inside the time machine and smiled. It was just like the gentle smile on Suzuha's mother's face when she died protecting her daughter. Yeah, those surveillance drones can be pretty ruthless. Now we're back in 2010. And it's morning.
すずさん、起こしちゃった？うん。ちょっと前から起きてた。
Seems Suzuha's feeling a little bit better.
何か食べる？うん。
After she said yes, Suzuha snapped back to reality. She was getting weaker. I wouldn't necessarily say that. When she realized that, she forced her sick body off the sofa. Her head shook, and she had to stop herself from falling forward, but she grabbed the back of the sofa and managed to stand on her own 2 feet. Looks like that fever is certainly taking its toll on Suzuha Amane.
ああ、ダメだよ。そんな急に起きちゃう。
If you're not careful, you might actually pass out.
もう平気。迷惑かけたね、まゆ姉さん。
I would say that you're anything but fine, Suzuha.
迷惑だなんて、そんなことないよ。
Something tells me that Mayushi would agree. Mayuri went to the kitchen and turned on the burner underneath one of the pots. The sound and smells of bubbling stew filled the whole lab. Mayuri mixed it with a ladle and stopped every once in a while to taste it. She turned towards Suzuha and smiled. Looks like she's doing some more home cooking.
ああ、大成功だよ。
And as apparently
まゆ姉さんも作
Yuki's
ったの？
cooking tutorials have paid off.
ゆきさんのおかげで、まゆしーの腕はめきめき上達しているのです。
That's certainly a big relief.
兄さんは？メイクインに行ったよ。その後はバイトなんだって。
So he still goes to May Queen to visit Ferris, obviously, but there is his job as well,
そっか。
which we still don't know anything about.
あ、ダルくんがいないからって夜出かけようとか思ってるでしょう。ダメだよ。
If Mayuri is warning you about something, Suzuha, you probably best heed her advice.
平気。平気じゃないよ。そういうこと言うと、ゆきさんに叱ってもらっちゃうから。
Yeah, and you probably don't want that, Suzuha.
私がどうかしたの？
And speaking of which, the curtain to the bathroom opened and Yuki came out. Her skin was just a little flush.
すずさんがね、寝ていてくれないのです。
Looks like you've been busted,
ダメですよ、
Suzuha.
すずはさん。うん。 あと1日
Once again,
おとなし
two
くしている
against
こ
one.
といいですか？
Suzuha's answer was less than enthusiastic, but she gave in to Yuki's glare and sat back down on the sofa. Probably better do as they say, so not to draw unnecessary attention.
はい、そのまま横になって。わかったよ。
She pouted and slumped down on the sofa, then pulled the blanket on top of her. Suzuha was capable of talking back to big sister Mayuri, but she would never be able to talk back to Yuki herself. Don't know why I combined their names there.
何？すずさんってそうしてると可愛いなーって思って。
I'm sure that won't embarrass Suzuha in the slightest.
今の姿をダルくんに見せたらちょっと危ないかも。
The terrifying part is that Mayuri does have a point.
そうだね。時々本当に兄弟なのかなって思うことあるし。
No, they're not, but we don't need to
気
bring
持
that
ち
up.
悪いこと言うな。あれれ、鈴葉さん、もしかして照れてます？照れてなんかいない。本当に？当たり前だろ。なんで私が。
We could chalk it up to the fever.
やっぱり可愛いね。
Then again, maybe not.
萌えだね、萌え。うるさいな。
Suzuha couldn't say anything, so she just had to turn away.
さてと、マユシはそろそろアルバイトに行かなきゃ。
It's time for Mayushi to go off to Mayqueen. She still works there on this worldline.
アルバイトの帰りにもう一回ここに寄るつもりなんだ。その時に食べようかと思って。じゃあサラダか何か作っておいてあげる。一緒に食べて。
Yeah, terrible to let good food go to waste.
ありがとう、ゆきさん。楽しみにしてるね。
And off she goes. Mayuri told Suzuha one more time that she needed to keep lying down, then left for Mayqueen Yan Yan. Yuki went to the kitchen and added a few seasonings to the stew Mayuri made, then turned off the burner. I think someone's keeping an eye on the stove.
鈴葉さん、汗かいてるでしょ。食事の前に体拭いておきましょうか。
And we're back to this again.
いいって言ってるじゃないか。
Yuki wanted to do stuff like that every day, and each time Suzuha frantically refused.
シャワーは無理でもちゃんときれいにしておかなくちゃ。昨日も一昨日もやったんだからいいって。1週間や2週間くらい放っておいても死ぬわけじゃないし。1週間ってそんなのダメですダメです。
Yeah, Yuki's very upset. Yuki hurried into the shower room.
あのさ、自分でできるから。そういうこと言う人に限っていつまでもやらないんですよね。そんなことダメです。
Yeah, the things are definitely not going Suzuha's way. Yuki came back with a bowl filled with hot water and a towel. She could be stubborn when she got this way. Suzuha had learned that well over the past 3 days. Yuki was just like the mother she remembered. She slowly and uneasily stood up, and then she took off her top, trying best not to let Yuki see her skin.
女の子同士なんだから そんなに恥ずかしがらなくても構わないだろ別に。
Something tells me that there is a very good reason why Suzuha wants to avoid this.
背中だけ私が拭いてあげますね。
Because if you remember, in Suzuha's flashback with Kaguri, she mentioned the fact that Kaguri was unaffected by the rains of 2036.
いい。
Something tells me that Suzuha wasn't so fortunate.
でもちゃんと拭けないと思うし。いいってば。
But Yuki is refusing to budge. And so is Suzuha. Yuki seemed a little shocked, but she quickly handed over the hot wet towel.
ごめんなさい。触られるのが嫌な人もいますよね。あ、私こそ悪かった。大きな声出したりして。お湯テーブルの上に置いておきますから。夕飯の支度しちゃいます。
And Yuki is going to prepare a very lovely meal, which is nice. Yuki walked off dejected. When Suzuha saw that she was focused on finishing the cooking, she slid behind the curtains into the back part of the room. And probably a good thing too. She used the towel and wash bowl to wipe herself down. She couldn't let Yuki see her body. There were scars, both old and new, on her, and burn marks that might never heal. Seems that Suzuha has received more than her fair share of torture as well. To her, these wounds were like medals from the vicious battle she survived, and she didn't care who saw them. But she didn't want to let the mother who'd given birth, or would give birth to her, rather, see them. Especially not the dozens of pale white marks around her breast.
母さん。
She still remembered that nightmarish day. The bullets which had killed her mother had lost their power as they passed through her organs, but still managed to dig into Suzuha's skin. And when they did, they were covered in her mother's blood and flesh. The scars would probably never completely heal. To Suzuha, they were her mother's grave. That's truly tragic. She shook her head to try and get the nightmare out of her mind. She took her bottoms off too, then wiped herself clean all the way down to her toes. Then she put on a new pair of underwear. It was only after putting on newly cleaned clothes that she felt human again. When she came back, Yuki was putting bowls filled with stew and salad on the table. And once again, awkward tension between Yuki and Suzuha. Their eyes met and an awkward silence filled the room.
できました。
Pretty sure we can see that it's ready. Yuki broke the silence first.
ありがとう。どのくらい食べますか？いや、いいよ。それくらいは私がやる。
I'm sure that the stew is delicious. Suzuha put just enough stew and salad on for a meal onto her own plate, and then made a plate for Yuki as well.
すみません。いや、こっちこそ食事の用意なんてさせて悪い。
Well, at least things are sort of quietening down once
具合
again.
が悪い時はお互い様と言ったはずですよ。食べ終わったらちゃんと薬も飲んでくださいね。
Yeah, we don't want to forget that. Probably a good idea. The two sat on the sofa and filled their mouths with stew and salad. The stew had a mild, gentle flavor. It felt like something Mayuri would make.
ずいぶん上達したでしょ、まゆりちゃん。缶詰をただ温めただけとか、そういうわけじゃないんですよ。
Yeah, back in the day, the food around the lab was either than microwave bananas, was cup stew and instant ramen.
大したもんだね。
Mayuri has come a very long way since those days.
教えますよ。私はいいよ。柄じゃないし。
Suzuha's not really fond of cooking.
まあ、いつかね。いつかっていう人は結局最後までやらないんですよ。それ、さっきも似たようなこと言ってた。
Yeah, that's definitely true.
うん。
And then the conversation ceased for a time, as Suzuha ate her food. Suzuha slurped down her stew, she had terrible manners, and tried to come up with something to talk about. This time it was Suzuha's turn to break the silence. After what she'd just remembered, she couldn't bear to be silent around Yuki.
さっきの歌だけどさ、あれ、なんだっけ？
A song that Suzuha's been wanting to find out about for a very long time.
シャワールームで、ほら。もしかして歌ってました？私。
It seems like Yuki sings unconsciously.
恥ずかしい。下手なのに歌うの好きだからつい口ずさんじゃうんですよね。
So, yeah, it's not really a song per se, just humming some notes and
別に
tunes.
うまい下手なんて気にしなくていいと思うけど、何の歌だったか思い出せなくてさ。実は私もなんですよ。
So, it seems that Yuki herself doesn't remember either.
印象的なところだけ覚えてるというか、子供の頃に流行った教育番組の歌か何かだとは思うんですけど。
That might actually explain a few things.
役に立てなくてすみません。
Unfortunately, it seems that Suzuha was denied her
鈴葉
answer
さんは
once again.
いつ頃あの歌を？私も子供の時かな。母さんがよく歌ってくれたよ。優しそうな人ですもんね、鈴葉さんのお母さん。
Unfortunately, Suzuha's worst case scenario is coming into fruition. She's getting too close to her future mother, lulled into a false sense of security. Although it's not entirely false. The conversation flowed so naturally she didn't think about how she responded. And achievement unlocked, 25% CG, that's the illustrations. A second later she realized what she said and then she stared at her mother.
どうしました？
That's only gonna make her even more suspicious.
私の母さん。どういうことって、おとといお見かけしまして。
Yeah, Daru's mother. Oh,
ですから、おとといここを訪ねていらしたんです。
Yeah, you're not doing a good job of keeping your cover story.
そんなバカな。
Oh.
お母さんが来たらおかしいんですか？だって。
Oh, she's already losing her composure. There was no way she could say that her mother was right in front of her. Confused, she felt silent. Yuki, for her part, must have come to the same conclusion about the reasons for Suzuha's reaction. she started to stammer and fidget.
ごめんなさい。
I don't think you have anything to apologize for.
私何も知らなくて、もしかしてお母さんとの間に何か？
No, it's...
いや、
I don't think it's
喧嘩をして
anything like
家出
that.
してるとか？そういうわけじゃ。今にして思えばなんか変ですよね。お母さんたら橋田さんには着替えや差し入れを持ってきていたのに、鈴葉さんには何も。
Yeah. Yeah, this is... Looks like Suzuha's story is starting to unravel a little bit.
兄さんに着替え？差し入れ？はい。
So Daru's mother brought Daru some clothes and food and completely ignored Suzuha. Suzuha thought as hard as she could and finally reached an answer.
あ、そうか。
Yuki was talking about Daru's mother. In other words, Suzuha's grandmother, who she'd never seen except in pictures. But she told Yuki that she was Daru's brother. It was natural she would make the wrong assumption.
どうしました？
No, she's just, Suzuha's just a little slow on the uptake. If Daru had even said a word to her about it, this wouldn't have happened. How stupid. She'd have to give him a lecture later. While Suzuha was thinking about the talking to her dad was going to get, Yuki had already started to sympathize with her imagined plight.
鈴葉さん、私いつでも相談に乗りますからね。何でも話してくださいね。
You don't need to go overboard, Yuki. For some reason, her eyes were starting to well up.
ありがとう。
Suzuha didn't know how to react to this, but she felt a little embarrassed.
やっぱり優しいんだな、母さんは。
That she is. Just like she told Daru, this place was too comfortable. She was starting to imagine that this life would continue forever, but sending this brief, happy time beyond the horizon of the worldline was supposed to be Suzuha's mission. That is, yeah, if she can convince Rintaro Okabe to go along with her plan. If she didn't, this world would be destroyed in the fires of World War III. And speaking of Rintaro, we're back to his perspective yet again, and we're at May Queen Yan Yan of all things. And I believe this is it for this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate 0. When we return, adventurers, we shall see just what has brought Rintaro to the lovely establishment of May Queen. As always, until next we meet, adventurers,